Hi, I'm Kyle Searcy. For the last 3 decades, I've been helping people succeed. As a former pastor, mentor, and leadership coach, it's my passion to help people do their best, find their niche, and do the best they can, maximizing their potential. And one of the things I've learned over the years is there is a predictor of success. If I asked you what is the number one predictor of success, what would you think? Something people can look at to determine whether or not this person will succeed. Some people say it's the amount of money they have, or the education they have, or where they were born, or what side of the tracks they were born on. But none of those are the answer. Some say it's family background. Some say it's about luck. It's not what you know, it's who you know. But none of those are the answer. Those that have studied have found out the number one predictor of success is attitude. That's right, it's attitude. Now, the definition of attitude is one's outlook. It's an inward feeling of your outward behavior. Now, I fly airplanes, and I love flying airplanes. In fact, I'm filming this at an airport, having just flown an airplane. And in the airplane, there's an instrument called the attitude indicator, my favorite instrument. It has a little miniature airplane that's in reference to the horizon. And if the miniature airplane is up above the horizon, the airplane's going up. If the little miniature airplane is below the horizon, that means the airplane's going down. And that's exactly the way our attitude is. If we have an attitude that's going up, that's optimistic, then we will go up. If it's down, if it's negative, we will go down. Our attitude, not our aptitude, determine our altitude. Let me say that again. Our attitude, not our aptitude, determine our altitude. Now, when it comes to attitude, everybody has one. The question is, what kind of attitude do you have? You have a positive attitude, an optimistic attitude, you have an upbeat attitude, you have an encouraging outlook, or you have a negative, pessimistic attitude. People found out that those with negative attitudes have lower salaries, can't cope as well, have weaker immune systems, get sick more often, take longer to heal, have lower energy, and they die earlier. So what I'm talking to you about is a matter of life and death. Now, let me tell you something about attitude. Attitude is a choice. You choose your attitude. You're not born with one. We choose it. And I want to talk to you for a few minutes about how to develop a good attitude. If we're going to develop a good attitude, the first thing you must do is to embrace personal responsibility. Let me say it again. Embrace personal responsibility. You have to take responsibility for your own life. So many times people want to blame somebody else for what's going on in their life. It's always somebody else's fault. In fact, I used to teach math. When I taught math, something interesting used to happen. If a student got an A or a B, they would say, I made an A, I made a B. But if they got a D or an F, they would say, you gave me a D or you gave me an F. Well, wait a minute. How is it you made an A or B, but I gave you a D and F? No, you made a D, you made an F, you made an A, you made a B. It's personal responsibility. And we have to begin to take ownership. Somebody always wants to blame someone else for their issues. It's the Democrats, it's the Republicans, it's my mom, it's my dad, it's my brother, it's my sister, it's my children. It's the fact that minimum wage hasn't increased. It's always somebody else's fault. And whenever we live like that, we live with a negative attitude. We have to take personal responsibility for our actions. We cannot blame others. We have to take personal responsibility. Heard a story one time I loved so much about some young kids who wanted to play a trick on their granddad. So when he was asleep on the porch out by the pool, actually in the backyard out by the pool, they took some little pieces of Limburger cheese and they cut it up and they stuck it in his mustache. Now that cheese smells real bad. So he woke up, started sniffing, and he said, it stinks over here. So he went inside the house, sat down in the living room and said, it stinks in here. Then he went out on the back porch. He said, it stinks in here. Then he went on the front. He said, it stinks out here. Then he said, the whole world stinks. So here's the moral of that story. If everywhere stinks, check your top lip. Something may be wrong with you and I. If everywhere you work is a bad job, if every relationship is a bad relationship, if everything around us is negative, it might be that we are having a negative attitude. So the first thing we have to do is embrace personal responsibility. The minute you begin to own the fact that your attitude needs to change, that's the moment we begin to do more than we've ever done and get better than we've ever gotten. So we have to stop making excuses. George Washington Carver said 99% of failure comes from people who make excuses. So stop making excuses, own it, And when you own it, you can change it. The second thing we need to do is begin to change our thinking. That's right, change your thinking. Proverbs 23:7 says, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. As a person thinks in their heart, so are we. We are the sum total of everything we think. And if we want to get a better attitude, we have to begin to think different. I can't thinking will destroy you. Thinking I can't do it, it's not good enough, it's not enough, it will destroy you. We have to begin to change to positive thinking. I can thinking. Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Let me say it again. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. You know, when I went to college, I barely made it out of high school. I fooled around. I didn't do anything. When I went to college, I decided I'm going to make something of myself. And I enrolled in a math class as a freshman. I'll never forget, it was Intro to Algebra. Had a yellow textbook, red writing on it. And I sat down in my dorm room one day trying to study X and Y and O and Z and equal and symbols. And I got so frustrated, I threw that book across the room and I said, what in the world does this have to do with life? And I said, I quit. I'm not even going to do this. And I sat on the bed for a while, but all of a sudden a thought came to my mind. And I grabbed that book and I opened it. And I said, if somebody is smart enough to write this, I ought to at least be smart enough to learn it. And I changed my attitude. And as a result of that, not only did I do well in that class, in fact, I did so well, my instructor came to me and said, Kyle, you did so well in math. You're doing so well, you ought to major in math. And you know what? I took him up on it. And today I stand before you with not one math degree, 2 math degrees, and all I did was change my attitude. And you can have whatever you want. God helping you if you change your attitude as well. I won't thinking will not cut it. You have to have I will and I can thinking. Did you hear about the story of a guy who went to an island? He worked for Tom McCann Shoes. Many of you don't know what that is. Many years ago, Tom McCann had shoes, and the guy went to the island, and he looked at the island and found out nobody wore shoes on the island. So he called the company back. He said, send me a plane ticket. I'm out of here. Nobody wears shoes on this island. They sent another salesperson, and he called back and said, send me 10,000 pairs of shoes. Everybody on this island needs shoes. Look at that. The difference was how he thought. One thought endless possibilities. The other thought I can't. You change your thinking, it'll change your life. One of my favorite quotes is this: 2 men looked through the prison bars. One saw mud, the other saw stars. Both in the same predicament, but one looked and saw mud, the other one saw stars. What's the difference? The difference is in your thinking. Someone said, growl all day long and you'll be dog tired at night. You know, a neurosurgeon once said something that's very interesting. And what he said kind of leads into our third point. So let me share with you our third point. You got to change what you speak. Not just change what you think, have to change what you speak. Because speaking affects every aspect of our body. They call it self-fulfilling prophecy. When you begin to speak, your body lines up with it. I heard a neurosurgeon who was doing surgery on somebody, and he found out when he touches the speech center of the brain, the entire body reacts to that. That's how powerful what you say is. So if you constantly walk around saying negative things, if you constantly walk around growling, as I said a minute ago, if you constantly walk around, you're programming your mind, your body, and your emotions for what you don't want. Begin speaking what you want. The Bible even says, let the weak say, I'm strong. Don't always say what you have. Begin to declare what you want. You could be honest with where you are, but declare where you're going. Declare what God's going to do for you. Change your self-talk. Affirm yourself. Wake up in the morning and rehearse your vision. Before you go to sleep at night, rehearse your vision. Declare over and over and over again where you're going, what you want. Change what you speak, and you'll begin to change your life. And the fourth thing I want to tell you to change your attitude is be persistent. Be persistent. Einstein said, in the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. Powerful quote. You know, quitting is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. I'm so glad that there are people in history that didn't quit. I'm glad the Wright brothers didn't quit. So we have airplanes. Again, I'm standing at an airport right now. You see them flying behind me. The Wright brothers did not quit. And it took them time and time again, failure after failure, but yet they succeeded. I'm glad Edison didn't quit because we have light bulbs. In fact, one time he said, I've learned 1,000 ways that this will not work, because he failed so many different times. I'm glad Bill Gates didn't quit, because we have personal computers. I'm glad Zuckerberg didn't quit. We have Facebook. I'm glad Martin Luther King didn't quit. We have civil rights. I can go on and on and on about people who didn't quit. But the next one I talk about, I want to be you, because you do not quit. We need to be like Abraham Lincoln, one of my favorite characters in history, but a lot of people don't know that before he became president, he had a lot of different failure. He had a very difficult childhood. He suffered constant depression. He had less than a year of formal schooling. In 1831, he started a business and he failed. In 1832, he ran for legislature and he was defeated. In 1833, he started a business again and he failed. In 1834, he was elected to the legislature. In 1835, his fiancée died. In 1838, he ran for speaker and he was defeated. In 1840, he ran for elector and he was defeated. Only one of his 4 sons lived past the age of 18. In 1843, he was elected to Congress, but in 1846, he ran for Congress again. 1848, he ran for Congress again, and he lost. In 1855, he ran for Senate, and he lost. In 1856, he ran for vice president, and he lost. In 1858, he ran for Senate, and he lost. But in 1860, he ran for president, and he won. He became one of America's greatest presidents, signed the Emancipation Proclamation, and many lives were changed because he did not give up. So listen, friends, to get a better attitude, embrace personal responsibility. Change your thinking to I can thinking. Change your self-talk. And lastly, be persistent. And you will have a better attitude, and this will be a picture of your future. You will soar.